Welcome to Lana's Homestead and my one-year permaculture garden. I've taken it from grass to sheet mulch to thriving food forest.
Hello and welcome to the homestead. Today I'm going to be working on a garden bed in my front yard. I've already attempted to plant a tree here. I'm planning to put in a white flower magnolia tree. It doesn't have any fruit, it's just ornamental. Also, the front yard is a west facing, so in the afternoon and evening time we get a lot of sun. So we're hoping to get some good shade from the tree. And then I would like to build a bed around it and plant in some native wildflowers. So it's just something pretty for our front yard. But I do want to implement some permaculture methods in the bed. So there is a rain gutter in the back. So the water will come down the rain gutter, and then I will build a swale from the rain gutter to the tree, and then around the bed I'm going to build a swale and a berm. So you dig the swale, the water goes in it, and then you build a berm on the outside of it so that the water stays in, and hopefully I won't have to water the garden very much. And the plants are going to be native wildflowers, so they also will do very well in this region. So my hope is that it's some work getting it all set up, but that after that it will just do its own thing and it will be very minimal work after that point. Also, I am going to implement a method that I like to call the flipping grass method. So I bought a new shovel. I'm going to show you how it works. I'm going to just dig up a layer of grass or sod and flip it over, and then put compost on top of that, and then just plant directly onto that. So the purpose is that the grass has nitrogen in it, and then instead of removing the nitrogenous material, you just flip it over and plant right on top of it.
So here I'm using an A-frame. It's just a device to see where the ground is level. In this case, I want to find out where the ground is not level. So I want it to go on a downward slope, so when the water flows from the gutter, it will flow into my garden.
So this is the new shovel that I bought today for the purpose of removing sod. So it is a garden spade for edging flower beds and landscape borders. So it's just the way the shape of it versus the more traditional shovel, which is more of the oval shape, which is more for digging like holes and dirt out. And this one is for just removing the sod. So I'm going to press down, it's going to cut into the grass layer, and then you just push underneath, and then it should easily come up. Hopefully easier than the other shovel, the more traditional shovel. I built some swales and dug a few holes for trees, and the traditional shovel was just kind of a lot of work getting up the grass layer. So I'm hoping this is going to make it easier, but it's still some work. So this section, the drain pipe is going to empty in, and then it's going to go along. So as you can see, there's a big slope right here. So I want to make this more shallow and that more deep. So shallow and then deeper so that it will flow naturally. And then I'm going to put this sod which I dug up here to create a big berm so that it doesn't overflow, because I want to hold in as much as I can so it doesn't just run off into the sewer and drain other people's property. I want to keep it here to water the plants.
Knee deep in the woods is where you see this through. You see near the tree no woods until you see this through. Now come on, tumble. It's nothing but a knot in your head that you pull tighter with every backward step. And here we are once again. Here we are. There is no sweet relief there. Scratch.
So this grass flip method that I'm calling it is not a permaculture method. This is actually probably something that the permaculturists would frown on because you are disturbing the soil layer. Permaculturists say no till, so just build on top. The reason I decided to try this, I mean, it was an experiment. I did a couple beds in the back this way, and I felt like they worked pretty well. But I didn't really want to sheet mulch in my front yard. I just thought it would be unsightly, and I wanted to plant my seeds in it right away. And when you do a sheet mulch, it's best to let it sit for a few months, like do it in the fall and let it overwinter. So that is why I decided to do this method. It was really a lot of work to build the bed initially, but now that we are done, I'm hoping that it will not be any more work except just kind of minor maintenance.
How I would if I could shake this off and wake up.
Okay, so now that the garden bed has been built, I'm going to build a swale and a berm in the middle, and then I'm going to fill it in with rocks and wood chips, and then it will become a path in the middle.
There is no sweet relief here. Scratching that itch just makes it worse. And those thoughts won't come untangled if you flinch every time that they hurt.
So now my swale is dug. I did another video about how to dig swales and berms. You should check that out if you want to learn more. But basically I just dug a 2 to 3 foot wide like trench that's on an angle, and the deepest section is 6 to 8 inches deep. You could even go a foot to a foot and a half. I didn't. I filled it in with rocks, and then I'm going to, and then I used the A-frame to go in and try to make sure it's all even, so that you don't want areas that are like deeper in other areas, because you want your water to evenly infiltrate. So now I'm going to cover it up with wood chips. You could fill it in with hay. You could fill it in with more stones. You could top it with some topsoil. You could fill it in all with stones and then top it with soil. It's up to you. I'm also going to be using this, doubling it as a path. So I'm just going to fill it in with wood chips.
Knee deep in the woods is where you see this through. You see near the tree no woods until you see this through. Knee deep in the woods is where you see this through. You see near the tree no woods until you see this through. Now come on, tumble. It's nothing but a knot in your head that
is adding some topsoil, that's some good organic matter to help. I didn't bother removing the leaves because they're basically a sheet mulch. They're just gonna sit in there all winter long and decompose and add some good carbon to the soil. So here I'm planting some tulip bulbs. These aren't native plants, but they are perennial, and they're very pretty, and they come back every year, and they'll be super easy after the fact.
Move of your own accord. How are you?
So now I'm planting some native wildflowers. So these are all seeds. I'm scattering them throughout. I did some planning with in relation to height and size. I know it is fall right now when I am planting, but a lot of the seeds need a moist stratification period, which basically means winter. So they will sit in the bed all winter long, and then they will be motivated in the spring to germinate and grow. And these are perennial as well, so it was a lot of work getting this set up, but then every year the flowers should come up all by themselves without any work from me. Here it is now. Under there is the garden. Very snowy year, and I will get back to you guys in the spring with an update.